Eric and Truman, that goes Moo here, back with another episode of The Kill Count. Today we're doing a Halloween from 2018. Michael Myers is back. So let's go ahead and jump into this video that has 30 million views. That might be the most viewed kill count I've seen so far. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, this is on the alternate channel. Hopefully there's no copyright issues with this.
Welcome to the Kill
I'm
Count,
uploading less and less on the main channel because YouTube punishes me for uploading on that
today
channel.
We're looking at Halloween.
But
no,
shout out to
not
the
the
patrons.
1978
They get all the videos there early.
No, not the Rob Zombie remake either. Yeah, there you go. The 2018 sequel that has
Actually, I had an opportunity to see Rob Zombie.
For some reason.
I went to Welcome to Rockville.
Halloween 2018 is not a
Rob
reboot,
Zombie concert.
at least not
Didn't know
entirely.
any songs.
What it does do is create another new timeline in the Halloween
Yeah, that's what we
franchise,
needed.
since this movie is a direct sequel to the original 1978 classic. So in this movie's timeline, there's never been a Jamie Lloyd or a Carrie Tate or a Busta Rhymes or a Sherry Moon
that's a
Zombie.
shame.
And perhaps most significantly, Michael Myers and Laurie Strode are no longer related.
Wasn't it her brother who, like, cold-blooded murder-lated all those teenagers?
Murder-lated?
No, that's just a bit that some people made up to make him feel better, I think.
Since remember, that fact didn't come out until Halloween 2 in 1981.
That girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister.
I think it's entirely understandable that they wanted to wipe the slate clean, because the timelines for this franchise are ridiculous, and it's much easier to just start over from the end of the original. Halloween
They probably have a
2018
massive
is the
budget
first
for this
sequel
one.
since Season of the Witch to have any direct involvement from series co-creator John Carpenter, and in fact the whole movie was billed as a return to form by director David Gordon Green and co-writer Danny McBride. I think they mostly succeeded with that goal. While it may be much flashier and slashier than the now 40-year-old original, it definitely
40 years,
feels
that'll
more
do-
like
that'll make a
Carpenter's
difference.
classic than anything that involved cult curses or Big Brother style live streams. In this timeline, Michael's been waiting 40
Flashing
years
lights in
to
this
kill
video.
again.
Warning.
How many will he secure as a sadistic, spry 60-year-old? Let's find out and get to them.
60? Michael Myers ages?
The movie begins at the Smiths Grove Sanitarium, where uncomfortable close-ups and excellent sound design create an immediate feeling of unease. A couple
Ew,
of
what
wannabe
why
journalist
is that
podcasters,
a
Dana
spine?
and Aaron, are there
I guess
to
it'd be a
record a story
vertebrae.
about
Or no,
Michael
it'd be a
Myers.
spine.
And to that end,
Flexion
they meet
vertebrae
with
is
Michael's
spine.
overseer, Dr. Sartine, who sounds like Dr. Loomis in more than one way.
Michael has been my life's obsession.
In fact, Sartine
What?
here was a student of Dr. Loomis, whose shadow still looms as large over this franchise nearly a quarter century after Donald Pleasance's death.
Dr. Loomis was the only one to see him in the wild, and he concluded he was nothing more than pure evil.
Sartane leads
Oh,
them out to the
okay.
prison yard, where Michael Myers reigns king of this human
Is he
chessboard.
chained to a
The little
block?
pawns all around him start freaking the fuck out when Aaron
Why
tries to
in the
reach into
sun?
Michael's soul and evoke something using his old Bill Shatner mask. He says he got the mask from a friend at the AG's office, which sure, I mean,
let
it's
you
just a
into
little murder
that?
case evidence.
What's
Might as
that?
well let the amateur podcasters borrow it. No big. Now, while the mask they use in this movie isn't for reals the same one they had in 1978, makeup artist Christopher Nelson recreated that mask and added really good-looking aging effects to it. I think this movie's mask looks better than most of the ones from throughout the series, especially that stupid fucking alien-looking one from Part 5. In this movie, Michael Myers is played by actor and stunt performer James Jude Courtney, who was a very pleasant dude when I met him at the Halloween convention last year. Fun fact, Courtney was recommended for the role by stunt coordinator Ron Hutchinson, who did stunts on this film
I know
as
a
well as the Rob
stuntman.
Zombie Halloween.
He was actually the
Because
stuntman
everyone in this
for
movie
the
is obsessed
Spider-Man
with
in
hearing
the Tobey
Michael
Maguire
speak for
Spider-Man
some
movie. Stanton
reason,
Barrett
Aaron yells at the
used to
killer
run,
in hibernation
for
to
my
say
friend's race
something
team.
a few times. His command eventually crescendoing to an intensity that leads into a title card. Say something! The opening credits kick a lot of ass, featuring a pumpkin reverse decomposing and a chance to cheer in the theater when John Carpenter's name comes up. It's all set to an awesome update on his classic theme, and it ends with a close-up on the jack-o'-lantern's eye and nose. Now can you tell it's Michael holding a knife? So many of you couldn't
that's
see it in
so
the original,
cool.
even after I pointed it out. So maybe that's why they made it a lot more clear this time through. When we come back, we find our intrepid podcast.
I wonder if that pumpkin was actually cut like that,
and
or
recording some
was that just
shithouse
like
quality
done after the
audio.
fact?
Seriously,
Is
as
somebody
I
that good
mentioned
at carving
before in the
pumpkins?
dare I say fantastic trailer reaction video that Chelsea and I did for this movie, we've used the Tascam DR40 extensively. And if you want to know what it would sound like recording without an external mic like Aaron's doing, then here. This is what it sounds like. It sounds like shit. Aaron and Dana pull up to some private property that's fenced in like a T-Rex pen.
I'm using
Has
a Shure
security camera
SM7B, which
keeping
is
guard.
actually
This is the home of Lorie
closer to me.
Strode.
My audio should be a little bit
Podcasters
better.
earn access with the promise of a $3,000 bribe, or speaking fee. Lorie's house is a full-on isolation conservationist bunker, and it's in this home of floodlights that we get to see the world's most famous final girl again.
Yeah, I'm using my Series X to record videos now instead of my One.
Okay,
I used to just use my Series X to stream
It's great
and my One to record videos, but now that I have the Switch 2 there,
who are prying at her
I only have so
personal
many
history
Ethernet
so they can get more
ports.
downloads for their podcast. Through them, we learn that she's twice divorced
and this allows me to move my
currently
microphone
estranged
closer
from her daughter's family. The conversation is obviously very painful for Lorie, which makes this whole scene great commentary on how any jackass with a Tascam can fancy themselves the next Serial and go invade communities and personal lives. Lorie ain't having it though, and sends these podcasters back to whatever shit town they came from. Let's meet Lorie's estranged family that we just heard about. They consist of her daughter Karen, played by Judy Greer, Karen's husband Ray, played by strongest man in the world Toby Huss, and their National Honor Society daughter Allison, played by quote-unquote newcomer Andy Matichak. They're introduced to us in a breakfast scene, which is always fun. Remember the Rob Zombie one?
Bitch, I will
No,
come
yeah.
over there and I will skull fuck the shit out of you.
Let's see how this family compares.
same way.
Oh man, I got peanut butter on my penis.
Weirdly similar. I guess whether you're white trash or National Honor Society, breakfast is a good time to talk about penises. As we already learned through those prodding podcasters, Lorie Strode's not on good terms with her daughter's family. Although it sounds like Allison wants to be closer to Gram than her mom Karen will allow. She expresses this frustration to everyone in her social circle.
What
Let's
are these
see,
outfits?
we've got her best friend Vicky, who's all about that boba. Vicky's
Well, boba
boyfriend
tea, good.
Dave, a stoner played by the son of Tim Robbins and Susan Sarandon, whose mischief involves blowing up pumpkins, her bad boy boyfriend Cameron, who's more interested in the next night's Halloween party than meeting Allison's parents at a dinner that night, and Cameron's best friend Oscar, a mini Josh Gad who serves as some solid comic relief.
You know, you're two yucky dumpsters, and I want to go dive them. Come here.
While Allison's in class, we get a nod to that scene from the original when Lorie glanced out a window to see Michael Myers. But unlike when they alluded to that scene in H2O, with Michelle Williams also seeing Michael when she looked out her classroom window, this time through, it's Lorie herself standing there stalking.
Yeah, this
movie
series
does that
did
a
give me
lot.
copyright
It has
issues
Lorie
before. Hopefully
replacing
this
Michael
video
in
didn't.
new renditions of classic shots. It's a fun way to touch on the theme of Lorie and Michael being forever connected, even without the familial relationship. Lorie's at the school to pass along that
I hope this doesn't
podcaster
have
pay-to-play
copyright.
money to Allison for her national honors accomplishments.
Is that really
And during their
$3
fraught
grand?
conversation, Lorie defends her parenting techniques that wound up causing her to lose custody of her daughter when Karen was 12 years old.
If the way I raised your mother means that she hates me, but that she's prepared for the horrors of this world, then I can live with that.
Lorie is definitely prepared for the horrors of this world, with a
dude,
home
lever
shooting
action.
range full of
Oh,
mannequins and a bunch
brother.
of guns, including one of those lever action rifles.
Dude,
that
they're
Ash
so
had in
cool.
Army
They're
of
so
Darkness,
expensive.
And that I previously
Not always,
mistook
but
for a
one of,
shotgun.
like-
Thanks for the correction. You know I'm a gun dummy. Lorie takes one of
Yeah,
the
those
guns
with,
and
like,
gently
decent
caresses
calibers.
the trigger of it while she sits in a car that night drinking baby bottles of booze. The reason she's such a mess right now is because they're transferring Michael from Smithsgrove to another facility.
Why?
In a scene that features a
Hey, he's been there
voiceover
for
by
how long?
comedian Colin Mahan doing a Loomis impersonation that plays over an illustration of our favorite shape shrink. Meanwhile, our least favorite shape shrink is boarding the bus to accompany his patient. We'll see how that pans out later, but right now,
Do they
let's
really
get on a
allow
taste
that,
of Jamie
like,
Lee
in the same
Curtis's
bus?
famous scream. She still got it. At a restaurant, Allison's family is celebrating her academic success and meeting her
they actually
boyfriend
got
Cameron,
trophies.
whose father is no stranger to Ray.
I know Lonnie. I went to high school with him. He used to sell me peyote.
Wait, Lonnie?
What?
Why does that sound familiar?
Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
Oh shit, that's right! Lonnie was one of the little bastards who bullied Tommy Doyle
That's
about
a nice
the boogeyman
callback.
and made him crush his pumpkin. In fact, it was Lonnie's friend and fellow bully Richie who was the first person to run into Michael Myers with that cool sound effect. Lorie crashes the family dinner and chases down all that airplane alcohol with a full glass of red.
Oh.
Exactly why we don't reach out.
Damn, Karen don't fuck
Nice.
around. But you can't really blame her. I mean, who wants their drunk mom crying all over their entrees? Even if it does give this movie a chance to reference Michael's OG nickname.
I saw him.
The-
The sheep.
That's
Yeah, the
cool,
shape,
but
that was-
we've got company here for dinner, Grandma. After Allison comforts her vulnerable
Grandma ruining
grandmother,
dinner.
Lorie leaves in her giant pickup truck. And in a weirdly flat
I'm sorry, she
performance
drove?
by Judy Greer, Karen recounts her childhood of survival training and reenacting Silence of the Lambs to explain to her daughter
Haven't
why
seen
she
it.
doesn't want Lorie around.
I've spent my entire life trying to get over the paranoia and neuroses that she has projected on me.
Maybe the monotone
And it's gonna
is
come
supposed
to save
stem
your
from
life.
digging up childhood trauma,
Trust me.
but still seems kind of
'Cause
weird.
it's gonna come full
Speaking of
circle.
interesting vocal performances, here's this kid. His name is Kevin, and he is not excited about going on a hunting trip with his dad.
I enjoy it, but I'm missing dance class for this.
Yeah, also, he sounds like he just spent the first 15 years of his life screaming his
Dance
lungs
class.
out. He and his dad come across the Smiths Grove
And
bus
he's
on the
forcing
side of the
him to
road. The
go
inmates
hunting.
wandering around, much like they did in that shot from the original when Loomis and Marion Chambers found them freed from the sanitarium. Kevin's dad gets out to see what's going on while Kevin calls the police. But when
Are
his
they
pops
not wearing
doesn't
prison
return,
out? I guess
Kevin
the
takes his
sanitarium's
hunting
not prison.
rifle and checks out things for himself. He finds a guard or cop or someone on the side of the road and for some reason keeps his gun trained on him like the dude's an 8-bit duck trying to fly off screen. The guy isn't dead when Kevin finds him, but he seems to have bit the dust by time we cut to a long shot. So I'm fine with having him kick off the count. Our first
30 minutes
kill,
in.
a full 30 minutes into the movie.
Wow.
Kevin
Must be a
approaches the
long
bus
movie.
looking for his
I mean, this is
dad,
a long
but
kill count.
instead, he just showcases more crappy firearm training.
Don't shoot.
Oh my god, what the
He's from the scene of the crime? Damn, kid, who raised you? When he climbs back into his truck to get out of there,
Oh, he
Michael
knows how to
stops
drive?
him by rising from the back seat and grabbing him by the neck. You might expect this kid to live because of his age.
Why did
but
he
nah,
do
son,
that?
Michael
Why
Myers
couldn't
ain't
he just-
playing 40 years
Oh,
later, and he
yeah, I
kills
mean,
Kevin
why
by
couldn't-
breaking his neck
I guess
against
they
the
could
car
wait till the
window.
gun
yeah,
was
dude,
gone?
They killed the kid. Although, to be fair, the series did do that already back in
But
Season of the
can't
Witch. Since
Michael
Kevin
get
managed
shot
to
anyway?
call the cops before his untimely demise, Deputy Frank Hawkins shows up on the scene to reveal another couple of bodies to add to the count. We don't need to add this body in the background, because turns out that's Kevin. Just compare the clothes. It's clearly the same outfit. We can, however, add this cop who Hawkins notices on the side of the road. And before you even start, I don't think it's the same dude that Kevin found. Just compare where the two bodies are.
Yeah.
They're on separate sides of the bus. They're also in different positions, and I don't think the cop Kevin found had enough life left in him to crawl that far away from his
For
original
what
spot.
good?
We
Yeah.
get another body to add to the count when Hawkins finds Kevin's dad up against the side of the
Oh,
bus. His
neck
neck's so
shouldn't
broken
do that.
it almost looks like there's some extra vertebrae in there. Ouch. When Hawkins checks the bus for any more bodies, he finds Dr. Sartine, who survived getting shot by Kevin and who tells Hawkins that Michael Myers has escaped. The next day, on
I mean, did he
Halloween, the podcasting duo
he
heads to
survived
the
the shot,
Haddonfield
right?
Cemetery to look at Judith Myers' grave, where Aaron describes her death in such detail that it evokes flashbacks to the original. Here we have another great bit of commentary, this time on how some true crime podcasters seem to get off on the morbid descriptions of the victims they're covering. It's kind of unsettling. Oh, and speaking of unsettling, Michael's there in the background watching them all the while. In fact, after
that's
they
normal.
stop at a gas station, where I think Dana says she needs to drop a deuce,
I need to go to number 2 almost immediately.
we see that Michael has followed them there as well, walking around in broad daylight all willy fucking nilly. Dana heads to the bathroom.
Wearing all
and a
white,
shot
it
that
is
makes this
completely
gas station
spotless,
look
no blood
very
or
much
anything.
like the one in part 4, the one connected to that Shrine of Lincoln diner where Doc Loomis encountered Michael again. And after Dana finds a suitable stall for her poop casting, she hears Michael walk into the bathroom, which is evocative of that one scene in Halloween H2O where he stole the keys to a car from that young mom on a toilet.
Is that where you,
this movie has franchise
girls,
references all over the damn
the
place.
10% of my
While Dana
audience
grows
that's
more
women, do you
fearful
leave
of
your
the man
purses
outside her
like
stall,
in the
Aaron peeps in on the
right
gas
in the
station
door of the
clerk
stall?
and finds that he's been killed on the job, his jaw broken and his teeth ripped out in a gnarly off-screen death. This movie is actually full of those. It's kind of cool. Aaron then heads back to the garage of this gas station and finds a mechanic's body stripped of his clothes.
And
we actually saw this mechanic
where the
being
overalls
killed in
come
the
in.
background a minute ago when Dana was
Oh,
asking where the
really?
who was, but I'll put him on the list now when we know that he's confirmed dead. Back in the bathroom, Michael gives Dana a present, about $35 in tooth fairy bucks. Score! He chases her underneath the stalls in a scene that's equal parts suspenseful and nasty until Aaron rushes into the bathroom to save her. Michael responds by grabbing Aaron and beating him completely senseless, bashing his head against the wall.
They
and
know
then
what kind of
the
monster
door a whole bunch of
Is he
times.
gonna die
It's
from this? He
very
probably
violent.
will.
And although
Why
we
are you
see
not running
Aaron
away?
clinging to life, the last shot of him does show his eyes closing, so I'm just gonna add him to the list. If he
Brain
comes
trauma?
back in a sequel,
Yeah.
don't bite my head off. This dude's injuries seem pretty damn fatal to me.
And it's
As
Michael
for Dana,
Myers.
He gets confirmed killed just off screen after
Wait,
Michael
so the
raises her
podcast
up by
is
the
just dead
throat
now?
and
Wow, I
breaks
thought
her
they were
neck
gonna be
with a
kind of like
nasty
more of a
crunch.
bigger
Oh,
deal
no.
than that.
With these two dead, their audience will have to choose to listen to one of the 5,000 other true crime podcasts. What a bummer. With his warm-up kills out of the way,
Yikes.
Michael takes his mask out of Aaron and Dana's
Oh.
trunk and suits up to his final evolved form. Mike Myers
because
is
they
back,
brought it to the
baby.
sanitarium,
He ain't here to
he
be
knew that they
anybody's
had
love
it.
Guru. After Lorie hears about Michael's escape from the prison bus on a news report, she heads over to her daughter Karen's house so she can fire drill her family.
Very nice house.
Jesus. You're dead.
Even though she warns them that Michael's bus crashed, they're more worried about the crazy lady waving a gun around.
Why are you pointing
so
it
Karen
at him?
Rushes her to the door and says, "Take a good look at your daughter, Lorie, because it's the last time you're going to be seeing me for a while."
Oh, they
Halloween
don't
night
own
comes,
guns?
and with
She was
it,
trying to give them a gun
trick-or-treaters,
'cause they don't
as well
own
as
any?
a direct reference to a scene in the original Halloween 2. Same costume, same shoulder-mounted radio, and similar abrasive sound cue.
And same D-size batteries.
That homage leads into my absolute fucking favorite scene in this movie, which contains a few more references to Halloween 2. Remember when Michael kicked off that first sequel by stealing a knife from Mr. and Mrs. Elrod after she asked a very important sandwich question?
Harold, you want mayonnaise on your sandwich? How about mustard?
That scene gets updated
Well,
in
she already has them out.
2018 after Michael grabs a hammer from a garage and then begins
it's
a
hammer time.
2.5 minute long one take where the camera never stops rolling. It starts with a housewife, apparently named Gina Pancella, making a sandwich in a
And
very
dead.
Elrodian kitchen before Michael walks in and murders her off screen.
With a
you
hammer.
hear him hit her at least 6 times with that hammer. And
Does
we
he
see the
really
body
hit her 6
momentarily
times?
After the shot
I feel like
continues
it's
on
kind of a
in the
one and
kitchen.
done thing for
Michael
him.
trades out his hammer for a much more comfortable kitchen knife and then walks through this woman's house, thankfully ignoring the crying baby in the living room. So I guess that's where the line is drawn. Raspy teenager? Okay to kill. Wailing baby? Too much even for Michael. He leaves through her front door and heads down
Wait,
the
who'd
sidewalk.
the baby belong
the
to?
camera still following him without a single cut yet. The shot continues as he
Wasn't that
scares
lady
a nurse
on the
and
older
doctor
side,
couple
like a
getting
grandmother?
ready to go to a costume party, and then as he steps onto a porch to find another victim with a classic sound cue. With the shot still fucking rolling, y'all, the camera holds its position as we watch
Goes
Michael
across the
go
street.
around the side of the house. It's
Oh,
a perfect
and
scene of
then into the back of the
suspense, and
house.
we don't break the tension until we see Michael come into the house and murder this woman, apparently named Andrea Wagner.
That
by
was
stabbing
really
her
well
through the
done.
back of the neck. The CG knife admittedly looks a little weird, but if that's what they had to do to assure that one shot went off without a hitch, it's totally worth it. At the high school Halloween party, where a DJ with a badass Frankenstein-themed table
Okay,
plays
that's
a
cool.
not Icona pop
What the-
song, Allison and Cameron are having
What?
a good time dressed as gender-bent
Did your
Bonnie
school
and
have a
Clyde when
Halloween
she takes
party?
a call from
My
Vicky,
school didn't do
babysitting
anything.
a little kid named Julian. Vicky wants Allison to come hang
seriously.
out with her. And honestly, Allison, you should do it, just so you can
Also,
chill
looks
with
like a
Julian.
speaking
That
phone
kid's
case.
hilarious.
I used to
I know
love
you talking
speaking
about
phone
smoking
case.
weed. Don't lie to me. That's against the rules. I'm telling my mom.
Obviously, the scene is just here for comic relief, but it fucking works, man. I love the back and forth between Virginia Gardner and Jabril Nantambu, a first-time kid actor who apparently improvised most of his dialogue.
Like some other kind of babysitter. She'd be reading me a story. I wouldn't be up.
They let it.
Nasty ass toenail.
Plus,
They let a
real
kid
sweet
improv?
babysitter-babysittee relationship. And isn't that what this whole damn franchise was founded on in the first place? Dave shows up at Julian's house, dressed as a farmer and riding a wooden horse named after Laurie Strode's alias in H2O.
This is Tate.
Hi, Tate. He's there to get icky with Vicky, but before they can get sticky, Julian interrupts them, complaining that there's a boogeyman in his closet. Vicky goes
And
to retug Julian
he
in
has
bed,
one of
but when
those
he
little,
asks her
like,
to make sure
shadow
the closet
cast
door is shut,
things
she has
that
a hard
spin in a
time
circle.
fulfilling his request. That's because there is indeed a boogeyman inside, and after Michael slashes Vicky to the ground, Julian GTFOs. Vicky awesomely
So
hits
why
Michael
was
with a
he
chair
even there
and then
anyway?
tries to be a runaway, but she slips on, what, her socks?
Hey,
That sucks,
another
man. I
reason
would've
not to
much
wear
rather
socks
seen her put up
inside.
more of a fight or have
I
a proper
do not
chase
wear
scene,
socks
but maybe
inside.
I'm just being
Absolutely
picky about
not.
Vicky. Instead, Michael kills her quickly.
Well, I
with a
want my
couple of
socks to
kitchen
be
knife
dirty so I can
stabs
put
to
them
the
inside
back,
my shoes
and
that I
shuts
won't be
the
able to
bedroom
clean
door.
out.
As for
And then my
Stoner
shoes are gonna
Dave,
have
to
stuff
his
in them and
credit,
I'm gonna
even
step
after
on that.
Julian
No.
tells him to run,
Just
he grabs
no.
a knife and goes to defend his girlfriend. A police
And when you
report
run away
about
from a
the
murder,
incident comes through to
a
Hawkins,
murderer-
and Lorie picks it up on a scanner in her truck as well.
Also, why'd that look like
Hawkins
Teller from
investigates
Penn and Teller?
Julian's house. Lorie arrives outside and tells kids wearing the Halloween 3 masks to get out of there and go home. But maybe don't watch any TV commercials when you get there, okay, kids? Underneath the sheep ghost, Hawkins finds Vicky's body. And if that seems too decorative for Michael Myers for you, don't forget, he did splay Annie out in front of his sister's tombstone back in the original. He's no
Tombstones are
Jason
heavy.
or anything, but he's always had a small streak of creativity when it comes to corpse decoration. Outside, Lorie sees Hawkins through one window of the house, and then Michael in another, the first
Just
time she's
looking
seen
at
him
him.
in his mask in 4 decades. For this shot,
And
Michael
he's just
Myers
staring
was played
right
by
at her.
Nick Castle, the man who originally donned the mask in 1978. He
Why?
was also a very pleasant dude when I met him in person. Lorie shoots at what
Why
ends up
was
just
he
being
having to
mirror
be there?
Myers, so Michael is able to just saunter on out of the house totally unscathed. By the time Hawkins goes downstairs after him, Michael is gone, but he does find Dave's body pinned against the wall with a knife through his
This
head.
movie
Again,
went from
another
no
pretty
kills in
decent
30 minutes
off-screen
to
kill. And this one's even
12
got a time
in the next
stamp.
32.
Outside, Lorie shoots Michael in the shoulder, but he still manages to get away from her. Hawkins catches up with Lorie and they talk to each other in a very familiar way. So at first I had guessed he was one of her ex-husbands, but alas, turns out that's not the case. He is, however, the cop who caught Michael after he was
I mean,
shot off
he
that
does-
balcony
he's not
40
Teller from
years
Penn and
ago.
Teller. I'm
In
pretty
this
sure he was
timeline, after
in
Michael
Remember the
disappeared from the
Titans.
ground, scaring the sanity out of Dr. Loomis, he was apparently captured mere moments later by none other than Frank Hawkins here, who also prevented Dr. Loomis from killing Mikey My. The badass looking Sheriff Barker Barker arrives with the recently awakened Dr. Sartine. But unfortunately, Sheriff Barker's not a bigger character in this movie, and instead we're about to be stuck with Sartine for a little while. Sartine sees Lorie and fanboys over her hard.
Oh,
Chill out, dude.
wow.
You should know Ms.
Not
Curtis
the
don't
time.
like that kind of shit. After meeting him, she refers to him as the new Loomis, although I personally prefer the much shorter Noomis. During all this, Allison's time at the high school dance has been a total disaster.
This
since
is
she
not
caught
how people,
Cameron
high schoolers
kissing with a
dance.
kitty named Kim. Between that and all the contraband booze he's been guzzling, Allison is totally done with Cameron. But good riddance to him, girl. This dude's the kind of jerk who will toss her phone into some unsanitary party nacho cheese. Fuck that guy. Allison and Oscar
Why?
leave
What
together,
party
and during
has
their walk
nacho
home, we run
cheese?
into a spot of awkwardness.
Allison, you're the coolest, you're the prettiest, and you're the nicest girl in school.
Why are we
If
walking
anyone
in the
doesn't
street?
appreciate that, they're a crazy person.
Thank you. It's very sweet.
Oh no, we have all seen this relationship.
There's literally
play
a
out before,
sidewalk
and nobody
right there.
ever seems to win in the end. Hawkins and Noomis
Like,
are out looking for Michael Myers, and
there's
during
a
their
sidewalk.
buddy road trip conversation,
Use it.
we see just how friggin' obsessed Sartine is with the silent serial killer.
I want to know what he's feeling. I want to know what pleasure he gets out of killing.
Because of that, he wants to capture Michael alive, but Hawkins ain't looking to repeat the same
Nah.
mistake he made in 1978 when he let Michael live. Meanwhile, Lorie and a police
Nah, you aim
escort
for the
get to
head.
Karen's house and tell her that it's Mima bunker time. So they fruitlessly call Allison's submerged cell phone and leave voicemails that call back to classic Lorie lines.
Now do as I say.
But right now, Allison is taking a shortcut home with Oscar, whose crush on her erupts just as awkwardly as we all feared.
Oh no.
What are you doing?
You deserve better, right?
Oh boy, you just hate to see that happen. At
Read the
least
room,
this starts
guy.
when she tells
Read the
him no,
room.
although he does go into a little too much detail while he's apologizing to her.
All these girls were like dancing on me. Their beautiful bodies got me all chubbed out, Allison.
She leaves him in this backyard that has motion sensor lights, and when Michael appears behind Oscar,
Oh, he
the
dead.
horny kid mistakes him for the yard's owner, Mr. Elrod. Which, yes, is a reference to the sandwich couple from Halloween 2. Oscar pours his heart out to the emotionless figure in a bit of backyard therapy.
But also, would he
You
be
ever
coming
really
from
liked
the...
a girl and you just couldn't have her?
You have no idea, Oscar. We get a very well-constructed scene utilizing the motion sensor lights that keep turning off because of Michael's ever closer stillness, and that builds nicely to a solid jump scare.
Ah, well.
Oscar makes a run for it, but gets stopped by the gate, so by the time Allison turns around in response
See,
to his screaming,
this
it's
is
too
why,
late. Michael
you know,
stabs Oscar in the back, who
he
then
waited till they
falls
left
and
the
gets a
school
spear-tipped fence
because
post
he
through
only
his
has a
chin.
knife. He
We
doesn't
get
have a
better
gun.
look at the nasty carnage after Allison arrives and finds his body. Damn, that's gnarly. The franchise's newest
There's a joke in
heroine
there
and
somewhere.
Michael fucking
You'll find
Myers
it.
finally come
I
face
believe
to
in you.
face for the first time ever. And holy shit, there is an amazing piece of music to accompany the seminal moment. Damn, it's great to have Carpenter back as one of the composers and hear him make
Run.
new stuff for the series. Just a bit of background, another of the movie's composers was John's son Cody Carpenter, and that awesome noise in this piece was accomplished by running a bow across a guitar, as seen being performed here by the
That's
movie's
cool.
third composer, Daniel Davies, who is the son of Dave Davies and nephew of Ray Davies of the Kinks. Allison runs
Who?
away and bangs on a neighbor's window for help.
Bang
We
on
get a
every
nice
window. Make as
reversal
much
of
noise
the
as
same
possible.
situation from the original. Back in that movie,
Or just
Lorie's
keep running.
pleas for help were met with indifference, and the neighbor turning off their
I cannot
porch
run
light.
Michael
But
Myers.
this time around, Allison finds a good Samaritan who turns their porch light on and then sits with her
You
as
open
they
the door,
wait for
don't-
Hawkins to arrive. Oh, that really warms my heart. Those neighbors were good people. Hawkins is there to take Allison to her grandma's house.
I mean,
where
somebody
Lorie,
bangs on my
Karen,
door,
and Ray
I'm
are
first
already
grabbing my
waiting.
gun.
Why Lorie's house over, say,
Checking,
the police station?
but
Well,
still having
because
the gun
Laurie
with me.
Strode's house
Then
is a
open.
goddamn fortress. It's even got a hidden stairwell underneath her kitchen island that leads into a bunker full of food
Okay,
and
now
water.
how do you
Oh,
move the
and
kitchen
guns.
island back
Lots
into
and
place to
lots of
hide it?
guns. What you trying to do down there, Lorie?
That's not
Open your
lots
own
of guns.
Walmart? Hawkins finds Michael walking down the street and plows into him with his police vehicle.
That's
And
like
I know what you're
maybe
thinking. This
10
is one of
guns?
those Ben Tramer situations
not a
of mistaken
lot.
identity, right?
I know people with collections 6, 7 times
Never
that?
gets old. But no, it turns out this is actually really Michael Myers. For real.
Oh.
Dr. Sartine tends to him and tells Hawkins that he's dead. But
He's
guess
not.
what? Sartane's a fucking liar.
And he gets
Because he
grabbed.
actually wants to keep Michael alive so bad that he takes out a penknife and stabs Hawkins in the neck with it. Oh, damn. Sartine gets Hawkins to the ground as
Oh.
Allison watches
Okay.
helplessly from inside the car. And the crazed doctor kills
And
the
now we
deputy
have the
with a couple of
sacrifice- the
stabs
sacrificial
and
lamb
bleeding
in the
out
back
to
of the
death
car.
from the neck. R.I.P. Hawkster. When I first saw this movie, I was aghast watching this twist unfold, and my confidence in it was not at all restored when Sartine popped up into Allison's view wearing the Shatner mask. Holy shit, that looks dumb. But thankfully, his game of dress-up only lasts as long as it takes him to load Michael's unconscious body into the back seat with Allison.
Michael Myers is like 6'6", isn't he?
I've learned to live with the Sartine thing.
How in the world is he able to move Michael Myers with one arm? Because bro was just shot.
Freed Michael in the first place. That works for me. But it does still feel like a pretty cheap mechanic to get Michael to Lorie's house, since I guess Sartain's gonna take him there for a reunion to, honestly, I don't know. This guy's crazy. And very disrespectful of corpses. The entrance to Lorie's property is currently being guarded by officers Francis and Richards, a pair of cops who are another source of comic relief. Once again, it works for me. I find their conversation very natural and hilarious as they talk about what they've packed for dinner.
Fresh brownie.
Okay.
Chocolatey homemade brownie. I made that myself.
That's like what a 5-year-old would eat if they could make their own lunch.
I was actually really surprised to learn that these two actors weren't comedians or UCB improvisers or anything of the sort. Officer Richards there is played by Charlie Benton in his only credited role, since his real job is a special victims police detective. He's
an actual cop.
Law enforcement technical advisor and somehow wound up rocking this very funny role. And Officer Francis there is played by none other than Christopher Nelson, this movie's makeup artist who made Michael's mask and who won the Academy Award for makeup effects for his work on Suicide Squad. It was awesome to learn that these two non-actors managed to be really funny, way better than the last
second or
time this
third
franchise
DC movie
tried to
ever.
have a pair of comedic cops.
That's
all clear. Nothing above, nothing below.
Never forget those stupid fucking clown noises. On their way to Lorie's, Allison gets Sartine to pull over by saying Michael spoke to her and that she can tell him what he said. Again, since everyone in this movie is obsessed with that shit for some reason, it works. And he pulls over Hawkins' car right down the street from Francis and Richards. Michael reawakens and remasks himself and then kicks the crap out of Sartine through the police car's caging. As Richards tries to get Hawkins on his radio, Michael pulls the doctor from the vehicle, and Allison takes the opportunity to flee into the woods.
How did she get out of the back of a police
Sartine
car?
Stares up at Michael and gives him one final request.
Say something.
Now, although Chelsea had a great idea for this moment back when we first reviewed this movie,
Say something. And then Michael, it would have been the best 90s movie ever if he was like something and then smashed.
Oh.
In actuality, Michael doesn't say anything. He just squashes Sartain's head like a pumpkin. Yeah, Michael, you earned your patented head tilt with that one. Allison runs away right as Richards and Francis show up. And although they find what remains of Sartain's body, they don't spot Michael as he stands behind them. From inside Lorie's house, Ray sees the police car pull up and goes outside to greet the cops. But when he gets to the cruiser, he finds them dead inside instead. These are probably this movie's best off-screen kills, since Richards has Sartain's penknife lodged into his head, and Francis is a full-on jack-o'-lantern. Stick that next to the opening credits, why don't you? Ray barely has time to piss himself before he backs up right into Michael Myers, who's waiting for him with a wind chime chain that he uses to garrote the poor patriarch
I guess
to
he's
the
in
ground.
shock, so
It takes a
makes
little
sense.
while, but Michael finishes the job with a quick snap of Ray's neck. Oh man, how are we ever gonna break this to little Pete? Lorie hears the commotion and comes downstairs with a gun to see a masked Michael standing on her front lawn.
Let me guess, another
She locks
mirror?
the door and sends
You
Karen
think that's
into
gonna
the
stop him?
basement, but after she gets stupidly close against the door, Michael breaks through and almost ends this epic matchup before it even gets started.
You have
Lorie
a
saves
gun.
herself
Keep
and
your
prolongs the headline
distance.
fight by shooting off a couple of Mikey's fingers with her
Dad?
shotgun and shooting out her eardrums, right? How's she about to
No.
hear anything after that?
I mean,
she
for a
heads
little
into the
bit, yeah.
basement with Karen, and they turn on all the floodlights as Michael breaks in through the holes in the front door. Lorie tries to wall hack and shoot Michael through the floor he's standing on, but
That's
it
just gonna
apparently
weaken
doesn't
it.
hit him, so all she's got now is a hole in her floor and a blown position. She goes upstairs to finish this 40-year-old grudge, and the movie once again makes a nod to the original by having her suspect that Michael's in a closet with wooden slat doors.
And
But
he's
she doesn't
not.
find him there among the clothes and vacuum cleaner, so instead she methodically checks and clears
Every
each
room.
room in her house one
Yeah.
by one, locking each
By
one
herself
behind
is
her
nuts.
with a gate system that she's installed.
Especially with a
Meanwhile,
shotgun.
Allison has
That's
run
definitely
over
a
river
pistol
of
kind
blood
of
and
deal.
through the woods to
I'd
get
clear
to
my house with a
grandmother's
pistol.
house. But when she pops out of the tree line, we end up with a very overwrought scene of her getting scared by
When you come
mannequins.
home alone after a... Oh, that was scary.
Man, I
home
hate
alone
this
after a
scene.
scary
What are they
movie.
even doing with this?
gotta
I
make
much
sure.
prefer my horror mannequins to have a quiet, unsettling presence about them, like they do in a room upstairs in which Lorie looks for Michael. After she finds Ray's body stuffed on a closet shelf like so many Christmas decorations, she does indeed come across Michael, who attacks her for round 2 of this rivalry. During this fight, he actually manages to stab her
so
and then
strong,
toss her
though.
off the balcony in a reverse situation
Yeah, wait,
of
yeah.
the original Halloween's ending. But after Michael gets a good look at her body out there, Allison comes through the front door and calls out for Lorie, distracting Michael long enough for Lorie to emulate his famous disappearance from the original.
Yep, but you didn't shoot him like, you know,
Allison
what,
joins her
7
mother in the
times, or
bunker,
5
where the two of
times, or
them
3
hide among
times,
the
whatever the
food
number
stuff.
was.
But since Lorie had shot from down
it
there
changed?
earlier, Michael knows where they're hiding. So he starts tearing at the kitchen island with his crazy, scary strength. While he's huffing and puffing, Karen Strode sees a gun with her name on it, or her initials at least. So she grabs it and takes a defensive position at the bottom of the
scope
stairs.
is on
Michael
that?
finally breaks the island away, but doesn't show himself immediately. So it's up to Karen to flush him out with a show of tears and fear.
I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Psych.
Gotcha.
Damn, Karen don't
Headshot.
fuck around. And for that matter, neither does Lorie.
Happy Halloween, Michael.
Yeah, like any good showdown, this one's got
What?
a third party.
Did he not just
so
get
Michael
shot in the
Myers
head?
and Lorie Strode take turns beating on each other one last time. She knocks him down into
Also-
the bunker and helps
Oh, that's
Allison
not good.
escape into the kitchen. But when Karen goes to follow,
And
Michael
gets
gets
yoinked?
back up
Yep.
and grabs the middle Strode lady. Lorie tells her granddaughter to run, but Allison wants to earn her place among the pantheon of kick-ass Strode women, or
do
as Jamie
what?
Lee Curtis calls them, Hallow women. She grabs a knife off the ground and
A
uses it to
knife?
stab Michael in the shoulder and slash him in the hand
Oh!
until he lets her mom go.
Are we just gonna
Then
leave him in
it's
the
just
basement?
One kick to the face and a pull of a lever, and Michael Myers is trapped in the basement by
Oh.
some scary spikes. Gas starts pumping into the house, and Karen
Huh?
tells Allison that the bunker is actually a trap. Michael is all locked up with nowhere to go, so all he can do is stand there and look up at Lorie.
can absolutely break
while
those
she
bars.
lights a road flare and throws it into the basement. The gas catches fire, and Michael still doesn't move, not even as explosions take place, and the flames spread all
They
around
should
him.
definitely
Lorie
run,
and her
by the
lineage
way.
leave as her fortress burns down. Mannequins, monitors, mini Myers houses and all. But I'm not gonna put Michael Myers on the kill count because as these empty shots of the basement show, we
He's
never
fine.
get to see
He's
a
always
body.
fine.
And you know that fucker always comes back for more. Plus,
true.
during the credits, you can hear him breathing, which was also performed by Nick Castle. The movie ends with 3 generations
Why
of
are you
kick-ass
still holding the
survivors
knife? I
flagging
mean-
down a truck and a Texas chainsaw-like shot that pans down to Allison still holding that bloody knife. Freeze frame. How many kills did Michael Myers
I
get
mean,
in this
I would have
latest and
taken
greatest
a
Halloween
gun,
sequel?
but I
Let's
guess there's
find
no
out and
time
get to the
because, you know,
numbers.
the house is on fire and kind of exploding. Wait, what? He has 2 of them? Or did they change
I
the
counted
background?
18 kills in Halloween 2018, putting it near the middle of this
Flashlight.
franchise for number of victims. Those victims included only 4 women and 14 dudes, and among those 14 dudes was 1 kid. So, you know, factor that in however you want to. With a runtime of 106 minutes,
I think there's
that
a show
comes
about
out to
that.
a kill on
It's called 2.5
average
Men.
at 5.89 minutes.
And
Golden
none
Chainsaw
happened in the
for
first
coolest
30.
kill goes to Dr. Sartane, obviously. That is one messy head crunch. Sorry I can't show it uncensored in the public version, but peep
Yeah.
that shit on Patreon if you want. Or just,
Now, shout out to the
watch it
Patreon.
on a movie. Dom
Could not
for
do without
Layman's
him.
kill will go to Ray, both because of the method by which he was killed and the fact that we never get to see his wife or daughter acknowledge his death. Like, come on, at least
Let's
one
just
line
assume
of
that he's dead.
sadness. That dude was cool. And that's it. Halloween 2018 came out in 2018, obviously,
Wow.
and did so well at the box office that a sequel is already in development.
Which has
I've
probably
got
come
more
out
big
since then.
request movies for the next few weeks ahead.
I think
But
the next
until
one's gonna be,
time,
we're gonna
I'm
go back to a
James
double
Beasley.
deal.
This has been the Kill
I think
Count.
the
Thanks a lot
next
for watching
week's
this
video
Kill
will be a
Count. I wanna
double.
thank a couple of patrons like Matt, aka Fred Allen Bent, Bob Karcher, Chase Joyal, and Chad Brothers. If you're new to the channel because of this video or because of Bird Box, make sure to check out the 10 other
Oh,
Halloween
Bird Box
Kill
must have
Counts
went
I
crazy.
have.
Bird
Should be a
Box got
button
blocked
somewhere
on my
the screen
channel.
for 'em. And I don't know, man, just go watch all the other. I got a ton of videos on this channel.
This channel doesn't have that many
Be good
videos. Just,
people.
I don't even think this channel has like a. Does it even have 100 videos yet? I don't think it does. I started this channel in January. January 1st is when I started this channel. Didn't start uploading until like a couple days into January. But then I was only doing like 3 or 4 videos. I think I was doing 4 videos a week on this channel. But then, you know, stuff came up with life and I couldn't upload on the main channel. And I was shown that, you know, I get more views when I don't upload on the main channel. So I created this channel to take away views from the main channel to help it get views. And yeah, apparently I'm better off not uploading on that channel because then YouTube gets... I don't know. I don't know, so I'm uploading this channel a lot more. Whenever I'm not uploading the main channel, I'm uploading on this channel. So there's at least one video a day coming from me. Tuesdays should be 2 videos, and Fridays should be 2 videos as well. So still technically doing some extra videos, still trying to live stream 2 days a week at least. But next week we'll do Alien vs. Predator 2004 and Requiem, which is 2007. And then we're going to get back into some single ones, which A Quiet Place. Now that's one that I've heard of and I've heard a lot about, but I've of course never seen it. So that's gonna be interesting. First time seeing anything related to that. Leprechaun, that's gonna be, I'm excited for that one. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, none of these. All these are gonna be completely uncharted territory for me. I hope to see their patrons get all the videos there early. I really could not do this if it was not for them. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. But until next video, take care and keep the music.